Perfect. Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Deborah Alwyn-Humke. I will be your host today. I have the privilege of being one of the lead facilitators for Wendy at the School of Intuitive Studies and also her program manager. And so I would just love to welcome you to discover how to detox your energy body, set boundaries, and embody your empathic intuition with Wendy De Rosa. For those of you who may not know her, Wendy De Rosa has not only trained and mentored healers from all over the world, she is also the founder of the School of Intuitive Studies and the creator of the only one of its kind intuitive healer training program. We are so happy you have joined us here today, and we're very excited to dive into this work with Wendy. So in order to make sure you have a smooth experience, I'd like to take a few minutes and go over some technical points as well as best practices for Zoom and our next hour together. So first, to ensure that you have fewer issues with Zoom, please make sure that you have closed any other programs or apps that are running. If you have any apps that use your camera or microphone, that can interfere with Zoom. So please just double check that right now to make sure you've closed all of the other existing programs you may have open. If you should find that you're still having an issue with Zoom, we recommend that you quit Zoom and then come back and rejoin us via the email link that you were sent when you registered. If there are any persistent issues, please log out of Zoom, restart your computer, and then rejoin us again. If you should have any technical issues throughout our time together, you can reach out to our colleague Samantha for support in the chat. To do that, you will just type support into the search bar of your participants panel. That's how you'll find us, and we can help you directly that way. If and when Wendy calls, it has an opportunity to have a question and answer or share, the way to participate is to raise your Zoom hand. In order to raise your Zoom hand, you'll want to go down to the bottom of your Zoom screen and you will run your cursor there and you'll see the reactions button. If you click on the reactions button, you'll see the words raise hand. You'll click on that and that will let us know that you would like to participate. And so once that happens, if you are called on, because Zoom has different protocols and new protocols right now, we will ask you to unmute on your end. In order to do that, if you go back down to that bottom panel on your Zoom screen, to the far left, you'll see a microphone and you will just click on that microphone and it will unmute you. And when you're finished, you can remute yourself. We also have our closed captioning feature enabled, and so there may be subtitles running on your screen right now. If you would prefer not to see these, please locate the closed captioning button on the bottom of your Zoom screen. It's right next to the reactions button. If you see that little up caret, if you'll just click on that, you will get an option to hide subtitles. And if you click on hide subtitles, they will no longer be visible on your screen. So if that is a distraction, we just encourage you to do that. Okay, that handles all the technical pieces at the moment. So let's just take a breath here. I go like, whoosh, that's good. So we'll just settle back in here. And I'm just going to take a moment to make sure that you're in a comfortable and private space. You might also want to have a pen and paper for any journaling or note-taking that you may wish to do. Since we're all on video and in our own environments, we ask that you take extra care to be mindful of how your activity influences our whole group here. So to that end, we're just asking that you aren't constantly moving, not eating, smoking, or changing your clothes while on camera. And I know you may chuckle, but you'd be surprised at what people do while on camera. If you do need to tend to something in your environment, we just request that while we are in session that you turn your camera off during that time. And if you go back down to the bottom of your Zoom screen and right next to the microphone, you'll see the camera. That's where you can turn your camera on and off at that point. And then once you are done tending to whatever you needed, you can just turn your camera back on and rejoin us live with your camera on. And finally, we ask that you remember that while the chat is an effective way to reach support, every message that goes to the whole group will influence the experience of everyone. So while we welcome your check-ins now, if you haven't had a chance, if you can just say hello and type in where you're from, we'd love to hear where everybody's from and say hello. But once we're underway, we just ask that you use the chat mindfully and sparingly. Okay. I believe that that is all of the announcements. I'm also here if you need anything. You can chat me as well in the chat directly, and just type it in the search bar. So it is my great honor to welcome on Wendy De Rosa. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. I'm excited to spend this time with you to talk about detoxing the energy body, some understanding of the energetic body, and some information. I'm also going to share with you later in the call an opportunity where we can go deeper with this work. And so I'll talk more about that later. But I love to open with a grounding meditation to set our space together. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll join our hearts. And sometimes I love this, and this, it's a prayer hands, but it's a mudra. And what that means is it's a hand gesture that aligns our right side, left side body, our masculine and feminine within, and brings us into alignment in the center of our hearts. So if you'd like to, you can apply this mudra in the moment as you close your eyes and settle into your body. And we'll take just 2 deep breaths here into the center of the heart with your hands in prayer. And then on your third, you can take a deep inhale. And then on an exhale, you allow your hands to separate, and then your palms come face up on just laying on your lap. And continuing your deep breath, your deep breathing, with your hands resting on your lap, palms facing up. And we'll imagine here that this powerful divine presence of the Earth Mother, we'll say the Earth Mother in the center of the earth, raises her arms up to your hips and takes hold of the sides of your hips. In this powerful gesture of security, safety, grounding. And through this gesture, we'll invite our body, our mind, our spirit to come present in this present moment. From anything we might be thinking about for the future or the past, anywhere our energy might be tending to something else outside of this moment. May we all arrive here in this space, in this present moment, whether you're here now or you will listen back later. You ground into the present moment, this moment. And in our space together, I pray that there is a great sphere around us of our collective, people who come together in community to learn and to evolve and to grow together, that we are held in this light, in this divine space. And that in this divine space, you have your own divine space. You have your own auric field. You have your own energy body, and that there's a beautiful circle of light, sphere of light. Maybe it's an oval around your body. to help you settle into this space, receive the information that you're here to receive, and get what you need out of this work today. Pray that my connection is open to the divine. I receive the light in the center of my heart. May it extend deep into the earth. May it be protected with love. And I pray that we have a beautiful, grounded, connected time in our session today, and that you receive what you are here to receive. Thank you, God. So be it. And so it is. So very slowly, we'll come back here into connection. So I'm Wendy De Rosa, and I have been working as an intuitive healer and a founder of a school, a teacher, a trainer, an author for a long time. And what I wanted to bring forth in this time in our workshop is really understanding the paradigm shift between ignoring, not on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level, because we're raised in a system that didn't value it. And what it is the power of your sensitivity, the power of your empathic nature, whether or not you identify as an empath or not. We cannot deny that we feel energy anymore. It just can't. We're in a space, we're in a world, we're in a field where we feel energy, whether or not you identify as an empath. And so I want to talk a little bit about, this topic of detoxing the energy and grounding more into your empathic intuition. I want to explain that a little bit more. What is empathic intuition? And I want to explain that by just defining a little bit about what an empath really is. So, an empath, or a sensitive being, is somebody who feels the energy of other people, and particularly emotional energy that doesn't always get named, claimed, or defined. And so sometimes an empath can walk into a room and feel the vibration of the people in the room. And sometimes the empath can walk into a room with people not in it and still feel the vibe of the room. And sometimes they feel the collective, and sometimes they can be interpersonally in a conversation or in an exchange with someone, and they can feel what the other person might be holding, what they might be feeling. And sometimes the empath walks away with that energy. And so I want to make, first of all, a distinction that, an empath is someone who feels the energy. The empath is someone who, and I'm going to talk about this more in a little bit, but they basically come into the world with a very strong second chakra. They have the ability to feel what's underneath the table. And I'm going to talk about the chakras a little bit here in a moment. But they come into this world with this ability to feel the subtle underneath the table while the rest of the consciousness is trying to figure out what's going on, or is getting, sort of more direct information, and they feel what's happening subtly underneath. Well, what happens for empaths is that oftentimes empaths get lumped in with the phrase, I'm an empath, therefore I take on the energy of others. But they are actually two separate experiences that are happening in the body. The empath feels the energy. Taking on the energy of others is the overly empathic experience. And that's what we're facing in the world right now. I mean, empaths are being triggered significantly. And I'll broaden this to say, it's, again, you might not identify as an empath. You might be a sensitive. You might be an intuitive. You might be someone who sees, hears, feels, knows information. And we're all having empathic experiences, which is why it's so important for us to start to clarify that in the energetic system, in the energetic field, we have to take care of ourselves in a whole different way than, probably how we were raised, or what was modeled for us, or what was considered normal. So I want to say, first of all, I get this question a lot, is everybody an empath, or do we grow into being an empath, or how do we come into this world as one? Is it everybody's gift? So first of all, the empathic sense is the first sense that develops in the womb. And it is the sense in the body where we inherently feel. I mean, we're all to a particular degree empathic, very early on. This is how we internalize and absorb energy and information to form how we're going to exist in our life, in our world, in our family of origin. We are inherently empathic. But what's happening here for empaths is that we start to be raised in structures and environments early on where boundaries weren't necessarily modeled for us. They weren't exactly valued, perhaps communicated, expressed. And a very sensitive child raised in an environment where boundaries, or we'll say the empathic nature, is soaking up so much of what's going on in the space, but we're not taught necessarily to have our center or have our self. What ends up happening is that we start to develop patterns in the body to absorb energy. This pattern is inherent in our system, and I'll explain a little bit more about this in a moment, but it's inherent in our system. And then we have the systems around us that are dismantling, that are surfacing, that are, we have a lot of, we'll say, collective trauma emerging in the field. And for sensitive beings who are living with patterns in the body that are old, that are meant to keep us alive and survive in these older systems, we start engaging in the world with an old system inside ourselves. And in that old system, or old patterns, I should say, we can't sustain being in the new world with the old patterns that are happening. And so empaths are being triggered. Empaths are overly absorbing, overly feeling. Again, I keep saying empaths, but it's a lot of people. And the reason it's happening is because there is an invitation for us to go deeper into understanding what is old in our system, what are we living with, what have we absorbed, what have we taken in that is, thank goodness, kept us alive until a certain point where it's now it doesn't work anymore. Now it's old energy. Now it needs to be detoxed. Now it needs to be cleared, but it doesn't mean it was wrong. Doesn't mean it was bad. It meant it was important at the time because consciousness was the way it was at the time. Family structures were the way they were at the time. Survival was the way it was at the time. And now our times are changing. We are experiencing such a massive collective uprising, and it's twofold. It's the uprising of what has been subsurfaced, what has been suppressed, and that might be truth, that may be oppression, that may be diving into the deeper aspects of ourself, which might include our feminine energy, our creative energy, our deeper truth, might be issues around race, it might be issues around gender, around healthcare. We could go down the very long list of everything we're dealing with in the world right now. And it's rising. And at the same time, the sensitives, the intuitives, the empaths are emerging. They're finding their gifts. They're feeling the calling. They're being deeply triggered by what's going on in the world. They're getting in touch with injustices. And it is the empath that is, or I should say, empaths and deep feelers. They're all in that same category, intuitives. They are the ones that are driving this consciousness evolution towards change because they're not willing to tolerate the injustices. They're not willing to sit underneath, they're not willing to coexist with the shadow or the unspoken or the subsurface. Empaths have learned the majority of their life to navigate the silence. Like the stuff nobody was claiming and nobody was speaking, and there was a lot of projection, and empaths had to sit in that. Sensitive people had to sit in that. And in that place where we've had to sit in the messy and the uncomfortable, and we've had to learn, well, to survive in this, I'm going to have to take it on. I'm going to have to do everything I can do to make sure other people are okay so that I have a sense of grounding in this space. I mean, for any empath who resonates with taking on the energy of others, over caretaking, codependency, or really peacekeeping, thank goodness for that, because that most likely gave you a role to ground into during those time periods. But we can only sustain our coping mechanisms for so long until they get to a point where they're not helping anymore. They're not serving our adulthood and our consciousness evolution. So I want to say a couple of things. I'm going to take you through some clearing practices, but I want to say a couple of things about where we're going in this practice and why we're doing it and why it's important for us as empathic and sensitive and intuitive beings. So I mentioned earlier that first of all, I'll say this is that we have the empath who takes on the energy of other people. Basically, what that means is here's my auric field, and I've developed enough sense of being inside myself that my auric field doesn't actually sustain. And the auric field sustains from our radiance in our body. It sustains from the ability of our energetic anatomy being intact. Well, we don't learn about the energetic anatomy in school. That's not something we're raised culturally with, or, we don't learn any of that. We learn about the other systems. But the energetic anatomy underlies the physical body, and it underlies the nervous system. It underlies a lot of our systems. It interweaves with some of our systems, but we have to know the energetic body as sensitive beings. It's critical, honestly, at this point, because if we don't have an anchor into our deeper system. And so what's important to know is that in our energetic anatomy, we have a grounding cord. We have a powerful central channel in our body. That is our center. Our center isn't just core, it's the entire pillar in the body. We have 72,000 known meridians through the body, maybe many more. We also have these chakras, these power centers that run along the length of the spine. The chakra system is where we hold our power. It's also where we hold an immense amount of information about our history. Historically, so much of our humanity, our ways of relating and bonding and attaching here in this life and in this world to the physical world, and how we're going to survive in our social constructs, how we're going to thrive, how we're going to exist, have more to do with the first three chakras than they have to do with the upper chakras in the body. When a child comes into this world and is raised in an environment where inherently, deeply on a sensitivity level, they get it deep down, I don't fit here. It's not, I'm different. I can't find my sense of belonging. I'm not sure how to feel safe in this space. Something doesn't feel right. What happens is in this area of the body at the root chakra area, the power center starts to contract, and we move into deep lack. We move into fear. We move into an inherent sense of it's not okay for me to be grounded in my body. Well, the spirit at that point lifts higher in the body, and we can survive just fine from here upward, from the heart upward. These chakras will do a lot of work for the rest of our body. But for the empath, the sensitive, the intuitive, it's actually the lower chakras that are feeling everything under the subtle and coexisting with unprocessed history. So if I am feeling energy around me and I don't understand it, I'm going to say in my lower body, gosh, I feel guilty if I do something for myself. I better do something really nice or take care of this situation to help that person feel okay. So I'm okay in my body. And what happens here is the second chakra area of the body starts to coexist with a lot of history around where we have been shamed and trained to disconnect from our emotional center, from our feminine, from our power in our body. And instead, we've learned how to absorb energy into our system because this is the maternal power center no matter your gender. This is the caretaking power center no matter your gender. We'll just take it. We'll take it and we'll fix it and we'll make it okay until it doesn't work anymore, until empaths are becoming empowered and saying, nope, I have a feeling. I need to speak my truth. I need to say what's true here. I need to clear my energy. I need to feel myself. And so I'm going to take you through a guided meditation based on these principles. We're going to be working with 3 parts in this meditation. We're going to be working with deep grounding and unfurling here in the root. We're going to be working with your central channel radiance, and we're going to detox and clear energy in the body. But it's going to come from your empowerment, not from your victimhood. So as empaths, we're not get all this negative energy out of me. It's here's my center. Here's where I'm at. This is me, and this is how I'm going forward. So we're going to work from the empowered empath place. So I am going to close my eyes and go inward. I invite you to do the same. We'll take some deep breaths here and feel your feet. If possible, your feet on the ground is ideal. And if you can't, you need to have your feet elevated, absolutely fine too. We're coming back to this awareness of this grounding cord, this powerful sense of the earth pipeline, your primary attachment to the sense of safety and security and trust and belonging that goes deeper than the family of origin. It's very primordial in that it's about your human presence connecting to the earth's frequency. And so imagine that this beautiful tree trunk secures the sides of your hips, your low belly and low spine, and that it goes deeper than the uncertainty at the surface of the planet. It goes deeper into the power and the will of the Earth Mother. It goes deeper into a sense of restoration and sourcing. And to clear our energy truly, we have to ground. Because grounding not only brings our spirit further down and deep into our lower power, it also brings our energy from the periphery of the body in to our midline. And so, as the earth connection through this grounding cord gets stronger with every breath, brings more of a sense of slowing down in your body. Will increase this awareness that from your tailbone and your pelvic floor, I'm going to trace that in front of the spine is this powerful central channel. Perhaps you can visualize it, perhaps you can feel it or sense it. And that this beautiful central channel runs through your chakra system. Chakras are along the length of your spine. And the lower chakras have so much to do with our ability to feel the subtle on that felt sense level, but also when we bring in the grounding cord, it's about staying with ourselves, feeling the energy, which is very much about the front side of the lower chakras, but staying with yourself, which is about the back side of those lower chakras and your grounding cord. So to detox energy, you have to stay with yourself. The upper chakras are our spiritual connection. And if you resonate with being an upper body intuitive, that means you hear, you see, you get higher visions, connect to the spirit realm, psychic mediums or upper body intuitives. There is tremendous value for whether you're an empath, lower body intuitive, or whether you're an upper body intuitive in the higher realms, that this ability to ground and stay with yourself is incredibly powerful and necessary to be able to manage energy around you. So there's the grounding and staying with the backside of your lower chakras. And then we're going to invite this beautiful shower, this waterfall of grace that you lean back into to give you a sense to lean into. Now, that waterfall of grace flows through the center and the front side also. But the front half of our body engages empathically in the world and takes on so much because we disconnect from the backside. Come back to yourself, lean back into that waterfall. Feel your grounding cord. Stay with yourself. And now we're going to ask that everyone you have absorbed into the front side of your lower or upper chakras in your body, you don't even need to know all the chakras right in this moment. Just that sense. I'll give you a sense. It's tailbone, pelvis, belly, heart, throat, third eye, crown. probably places your intuition would take you. So we're going to send out for now the news, all that is occurring in the world. And it's not to disconnect or spiritually bypass from it, it's about getting you in your center so you can continue to be embodied amidst the world. Some deep breaths. So we're going to literally, you can, even with your eyes closed or open, whatever feels right, you can take your hands, gather that energy, and push it out. Sending it out. It is not mine to have or hold. We're going to do another level of clearing, which has more to do about older energy that you might have been operating from, that you needed survival dependent on it, but you're at a point where you can take over from here. And so maybe that older energy is something about fear of having yourself, the fullness of yourself. That you having the fullness of yourself and being yourself and loving yourself and all of that was maybe threatening. Maybe there was just no space for it way back when. But this is a level of that's not working for me anymore. I'm letting it go. I can have myself. Take a deep breath in. And start to let that energy release down your grounding cord. As more of you is radiating into that space, radiating from your central channel. Well, imagine that beautiful waterfall of grace flowing through your back body is now coming through your central channel. And that you're breathing in the presence of that source energy to illuminate the power of your soul's light. I need more space in my body. I need to take up more space. I need my boundaries intact from my inner radiance. Imagine here that you are illuminating, letting go of all the old energy that told you otherwise. It's not okay for you to take up space in your being. And allowing that light to illuminate outward toward your auric field that's about 10 to 12 inches outside your body. And that you are illuminating to the periphery of your skin, outward into your auric field. And then we're going to brighten the presence of your light, that your aura is being detoxed in the moment as you're held in this space from your radiance and from the shower of light clearing your body. And so allow this light to radiate all the way around your being. Allow that vibrant light to illuminate and form protection around your outer auric field. I like to see the color purple. It's the outer layer of the aura, protective all the way around you. And that you, as a sensitive, deep feeler, intuitive, empathic being, that your sense of self initiates here from the central channel of your body, from your radiance, and that your boundaries in the world come from you expanding more of the deeper truth of who you are. Pray that light surrounds you here fully and completely. And that as you go out into the world, you stay with yourself. You engage more of yourself, your presence. And light surrounds you fully here. I pray that your energy is grounded in your body. I pray that my energy is in my own body. I give thanks for this opportunity to be of service here in the highest way that I may be. And I pray that we all continue to walk in the love and the light of who we are, and that we may be guided by our own true hearts every step of the way. And thank you. Take a few deep breaths. Feel your body, feel your radiance, feel your grounding. The experience in the energetic system of the experience in the energetic system of staying with yourself comes from deep embodiment in the lower chakras of the body. Historically, we have lived, we have coexisted in our body with centuries of programming, of belief systems. I mean, our energetic stuff intergenerationally coming into this world with, it exists in the lower chakras too, with the emerging power. Part of being an empowered empath, having strong boundaries in the world, comes from clearing out these lower chakras and embodying more of your presence and who you're here to be. And sometimes to find who we're here to be, we've got to clear out the noise energetically. And so what I'd like to say is that this is a meditation to touch in on tools on how to work with deeply grounding and radiating and clearing energy from the inside out. And I encourage you to keep working with this. And in order for us to go to really walk our talk and be empowered in this world, the answer is healing. We do need to continuously come in to clearing our energy, healing what we're holding, and finding power in our center and in our lower chakras, because empaths are called to embody in a whole new way in this world. And so what I would like to do here is I want to talk with you about a way that we can go deeper into this work. I'm going to be offering a retreat in September where we're going to be taking these concepts, these tools, but we're going to go into clearing some very specific energy in the body. So I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about this retreat and what it is, and this invitation where we can go deeper together as a collective, as a group. I'm so passionate and seeing incredible value in the community coming together to heal together in a space, and the power of numbers, what we can do together in a space in shifting our internal paradigm and our global paradigm. So the retreat it's going to be in September 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's called Becoming an Empowered Empath, a 3-day healing retreat to clear energy, set boundaries, and embody your intuition. And I'll tell you, right, just so if you want to take a look at it, I'm a visual person. I do like to look at things as I'm listening. So if you're in front of your computer and can access it, I'll give you the URL so you can take a look at it. It's becominganempoweredempath.com/retreat. So it's becoming an empowered empath.com/retreat. You can just type that right in to your URL, to your browser, or type that URL right in. And if you're not near a computer, or you want to just stay present listening, don't worry, we'll send you the information afterwards. But I want to explain a little bit more, and as we go into as I invite you into a deeper 3-day process. So it's a 3-day retreat, and we're going to go deeper into the energetic system to understand what energy has been held in our body as empaths, sensitive or intuitive beings. So when you get onto the page, you can just scroll down to where it says during this 3-day healing, you'll receive. So you'll see that section. And I just like to highlight a few things about what you're going to receive out of this, which is, first of all, we are changing so rapidly on a collective level, and we're in a trauma field, and that can feel like the rug is constantly being pulled out from under us. And so it's so important that as sensitive empathic beings, that we are learning how to heal our own personal triggers that do get touched by what's going on in the collective, and at the same time that we are building more soul strength and stamina in ways that we are contributing to the world, that we have our footprint, our legacy, even if it means, in really small ways. I can see how I've related to people in my life differently, or I feel my sense of self in a deeper way. That you're healing intergenerational, collective, energy that you've been carrying throughout time. And so I'm going to talk about what we're doing in the retreat. So we're going to be shifting the paradigm inside from overly empathic to empowered through deep energy work and through grounding. We're going to be healing historic imprints in the body, specifically in the lower chakras. I'm going to give you some new energetic tools to work with that you can bring into your daily life. I'm also going to be addressing and clearing the energy of fear and lack in the body. This is foundational to all the ways that we have learned to not embody, and how we have learned to operate from a subconscious deficit in our energy system. And we working with that and healing those deep places. We're also going to be working with how to manage what we'll call energetic attacks. Maybe is it energetic attack all the time? No, maybe not necessarily, but when it feels like we're bombarded left or right, the system responds to it as if it were. And so we're going to be working with that. So each day I'm going to be taking you through deep guided healings and lecture, and we'll come into community connection. The first session, there's 4 sessions. I'll just tell you in brief that the first session is a deep dive into the energetic system and understanding, not from a cognitive adult level, but from a deep energetic subconscious level, what is going on in your energetic anatomy as it relates to oversensitivity and being overly empathic or an empath. So I'll go through the overview and we'll start our process with a deep grounding ritual. Day 2, we're going to go deep into the historic imprints. This is where we have to go deeper into the lower chakras and understand why the root chakra contracted for you in your life. What was going on that said it's not safe for me to be me? And how do I start to heal and clear that historic energy and imprinting so that I can find a new sense of safety inside myself? It might be a lot of energy that needs to be releasing in this morning session. So we're going to be going deep into clearing. The afternoon session is where we're going to go deeper into inherent patterns around fear and lack in the body, how embedded and imprinted they are, and how they form how we think and feel about ourselves as empaths and how we subconsciously operate in the world. We're going to be working with that. We're also going to be addressing how we might be projecting fear onto other people. This is important because empaths, I mean, we can say we're absorbing the energy, but we also have to take responsibility for our part and what's holding in our system energetically. So we're going to work with, really what is our energy? How are we operating in the world from our deep insecurity, and how do we heal that? And the power of abundance, what abundance really is, and how do we operate from more of an abundant place in our body energetically so we can hold boundaries in the world. And then our final day is grounded tools, practical tools on how to stay embodied, grounded, intact, and to work with energy in the world. And so I'll talk about 3 types of boundaries to work with, how to clear your own energy in your body, and how you can live and repattern in your system being empowered and grounded and embodied so that your experience in the world is not one where you're victimized by energy, but that you know how to be with yourself as you're engaging in the world. It's a whole other level having had very deep energy cleared in the body. So those are our sessions together. If you're on the page, you can scroll down a little bit more. It talks a little bit about how the program works, the schedule, and the retreat sessions. Again, Friday, the September 17th. It's 12 to 3 Pacific for the first session. These are all in Pacific times. Saturday, the 18th, will be 8 to 11 Pacific in the US, and 1 to 4 Pacific for the afternoon session. Those are on Saturday. Sunday is 8 to 11 Pacific. It's a morning session. All the sessions are recorded and put up into a member portal. So if you have to miss a session, you can go back and listen and participate, and you can join us in the you can stay on track and join us in the next session. If that works, you can also listen back at another time. So they're all recorded. So I would love to have you join me so we can go deeper into this work as being empowered empaths in the world. So if you scroll a little bit further down, you'll see that the full tuition for the retreat is $297. However, because you're here in this live with us now, or you're listening to the recording, if you have to listen back, I want to honor your presence and you showing up and being here for this event. And so we're going to offer you $100 off. You can use the code HEAL100 when you check out, and that'll take off the $100 off of it. So if you register right now, it is going to be $197 for you for the 3-day retreat in September. And just for a limited time, we're going to have 2 bonuses for you. So your gift as an empath, there's a video teaching. The video teaching is called Your Gifts as an Empath. And the second bonus is discover your 4 aspects of intuition. So again, we talked a little bit about this in the meditation. Upper body intuitives very different than lower body intuitives. And some people have both. How do we work with that? Because it all can feel overwhelming in the world. So the bonus describes that process, upper body and lower body intuitives, and the 4 aspects of intuition. So again, if you're ready to discover how to clear energetic imprints in your body so you can become empowered in your presence as a sensitive, as an intuitive, as an empath, I hope you can join me for my 3-day retreat in September, the 17th to the 19th. And to learn more about this, you can go to becoming an empowered empath /retreat, and you will find all of your details there. And so just make sure you go ahead and sign up right away and use that code. HEAL100 is the code, type that in, and then you'll get access to your 2 bonus videos. And I so look forward to being with you in a deeper immersive experience. I hope it supports you here. And what I would like to do is just take a moment and support you in this closing. We're going to just take a moment and ground here into our bodies and feel the vibration of your space being held in this process. And the experience of going deeper into a 3-day process. If you feel called, I'd love to support you as we journey from this experience into perhaps a deeper dive into healing and clearing in the lower body and your central channel. I give thanks for this opportunity here to be at service with you in our space together. I pray that we all continue to walk in the love and the light of who we are, and that we may be guided by our own true hearts every step of the way. And thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. Thank you, thank you. And go ahead onto the website if you're interested. I'd love to see you for 3 days. We'll have more interaction and Q&A and discussion. So I'd love to see you in the retreat. Thank you, everyone so much. Many blessings to you. And I will see you soon.